Welcome to Aston Means Business, a podcast from Aston Business School. My name's Steve Dyson, and I'm a journalist who's interviewing some of the UK's top business academics and support staff here at Aston. This podcast has been going since October 2019, and there are now more than 50 previous episodes that you can find and listen to by simply Googling Aston Means Business. Today's episode is going to look at the MSc in Entrepreneurship that can be taken here at Aston Business School. We'll be asking what exactly is an entrepreneur, what the Aston course offers, what results can be seen from the course, and what are the top tips for any would-be entrepreneurs out there. We're going to explore this subject with Jocelyne Fleming, a senior teaching fellow in economics, finance, and entrepreneurship here at Aston Business School. Hello, Jocelyne.
Hello, thanks for having me.
No problems, Jocelyne. Let's begin by finding out a bit more about yourself. Who are you? What were you doing before you came to Aston Business School? And what do you do here now?
Okay, well, I started my career many moons ago working in the voluntary sector and then moved on to the public sector, social services, and the NHS. I've spent the last 20 years working in higher education. I've taught and managed a variety of undergraduate and postgraduate programs, both within the UK and internationally. And I've had many great opportunities to visit businesses around the globe. So I've had a wealth of experience in that area. And I have the pleasure of working at the moment as the course director for the MSc in Entrepreneurship.
Yes, and it's the MSc in Entrepreneurship that we want to focus on in this episode, Jocelyne. First of all, what exactly is an entrepreneur? I know that sounds like an odd question, but how do you define what an entrepreneur is?
Well, I'm not sure everybody would agree exactly on a definition, but it's really somebody who sets up a business or businesses and wants to take a financial risk in some way for the hope of profit. But anybody can be an entrepreneur if you're using eBay, you're setting up on Vinted, or you're going to, you're managing your car boot sale items on a Sunday. It literally could be available for anybody. So there could be a bit of entrepreneurship in all of us, really.
Are there certain types of people who excel at entrepreneurship, Jocelyne? Or can it be, as you just said, anyone at all?
Well, I think there's sort of two things that we need to think about with entrepreneurship. There's sort of two areas of thinking. We have the innovation, people who have a real passion to try and make things better or try to improve on existing products or services. And then you have another type of person who really is interested in creating new things that we haven't experienced before. So when we look at innovation, the Airbnb, it's a take on hotels or, visiting different places. So it's not a new concept as such, staying somewhere else, but actually how you do it is quite innovative. When we think about Amazon Prime, Netflix, Blockbusters went bust, but actually Netflix sells videos. So really it's that idea of how you can improve an existing service or how you can, what we like to think of it as customer value. What can I think of? Is there a gap or can I improve something that's going to create customer value that somebody wants to pay for? And that's the key thing, is getting that formula right, that you create and have an idea that someone's actually prepared to spend money on. So there's sort of lots of examples we have around that, Uber, Spotify. So those are all innovative things. And then, of course, inventing something completely new. Which is just as exciting in many ways. But, when we had the pandemic, creating a new vaccine, we hadn't had that before. So really, the telephone, internet, all of those things we never had before, and they're inventions. So again, it's sort of that improving people's lives. Very often, that's the desire behind somebody who is an entrepreneur, is to make it better for potential customers.
Now, from my own reading, Jocelyne, I know that there's some different types of entrepreneurs in terms of serial entrepreneurs and hybrid entrepreneurs and startup entrepreneurs. Just take us through the differences of those kind of terminologies.
Okay. Well, we have the novice entrepreneur, and I think that's quite self explanatory. Somebody who wants to have a go, doesn't really have the experience, but is keen to start up a business. A serial entrepreneur is somebody who just thrives on ideas and trying to create something out of it in relation to a business. So they could be holding on to their businesses, or a serial entrepreneur would be possibly looking to sell on their ideas and the businesses once the ideas develop. So it's that idea excitement for them. You have a portfolio entrepreneur who has potentially a variety of businesses, a number of businesses, which is Richard Branson in the old days when he had the music stores and the makeup and the train and the plane. So somebody who really is dabbling in particularly different areas. The hybrid entrepreneur may be somebody who doesn't want to give up their full-time job at the moment, so tends to keep working while they're experiencing the ideation stages and hoping to take an idea to market. And the last one is quite interesting. It's an intrapreneur, and it's really somebody who works for a large business. And very often, large businesses now, to remain agile and innovative, they'll have a team of developers working within a large organization. So, an intrapreneur is somebody who may work for Apple, IBM, but part of a team who the remit is really specifically around keeping innovative and looking at what competitors are doing to try and improve services for customers.
Yes, it's quite a big subject area. I can tell that straight away. And as we know, students can study for an MSc in entrepreneurship here at Aston Business School. Tell us more about that degree in terms of the course detail, the modules, and the main assignments.
Okay, well, like there are many master's programs, we tend to work in terms. So for the first two terms, you have a mixture of core modules that need to be completed as part of the MSc in entrepreneurship, and then you also have a choice to take some options as well. But some of the core subjects relate to business venturing, entrepreneurial strategies, innovation and emerging economies. And in particular, one of the key things is around running a business. So we do have a module called Exploring the Enterprise Experience, where students have to run a business and make decisions throughout the term to see if they actually would make a profit if they own that business. So that's a fabulous experience, and it's been very popular. Most assignments are usually reflective. Some written assignments, some presentations, so a whole host of things that we assess as part of the program. And then usually in term three, which I think is the most exciting term, you start your main project, which could be to start up an idea for a business. You could actually study a term in another country with one of our partnering universities. We also have something called Aston Global Advantage, where we have guest speakers come in for students who actually are business people or research people. But the opportunity to travel or do a placement all happens within that third term, really while still starting the research project, which would be due kind of a year after you start the program.
Tell us more about the kind of support structures you offer here at Aston, and maybe a bit of detail about some of the assignment examples.
Well, Aston is completely committed to entrepreneurial activity, and of course, won Entrepreneurial University of the Year in 2021. There are a variety of departments and projects that actually take place all year round as part of Aston University's sort of bigger infrastructure. So there's support, something called Start Your Business and Grow, and that's for new businesses or businesses that are already in existence who want to get to the next level. So there's a whole team, a whole department that supports students to take their businesses to the next level. We have placement opportunities. We have incubation space. So there's space for students to be thinking about their business and to creating a business plan. We also have specialized academics who are very experienced in startup and supporting people. We have mentors. We also have innovation vouchers, which is an opportunity for students to apply for funding to help start up their business as well. But really, the whole idea is anybody, and it's not just within the business area, the business school, but for the engineering, health and social sciences. Anybody within the university has the opportunity to come up with business ideas and be fully supported with a range of activities and throughout the whole year. Really, there are things going on that students can access.
Jocelyne, perhaps you can give us some examples of people who've joined the course or types of people and tell us about the range of different sorts of businesses that alumni have gone on to launch as a result of their degree.
Well, we have many students actually are part of a family business. And the family business has been around for at least one generation, maybe more. And the family's interested in taking their business to the next level, making and wanting to make it more sustainable for the future. So they're sending family members on the program to look at practical ways to get their business to the next level. We have mature students who perhaps have already had a career in one area who actually want to start up a business and want to know the fundamentals about how to do that. And then you have people who work in large organizations who are sponsored by their employer because employers really want agile, innovative idea thinking people to work for them. So it's gaining that knowledge and skills and understanding the possibilities that are available. And it ranges really from supermarket chains. So we had a student who was in a family business who ran supermarkets. I've had a student who wanted to create more interesting pet food that would be available. One student was really interested in sustainable products for hotels. He was annoyed with all the throwaway products and how they're packaged in hotels, and subsequently has won a contract with a leading chain to sell bamboo toothbrushes.
Wow.
So even before he graduated, he secured several contracts of hotels who really went on board and said, "Yes, we want sustainable products, and we will buy." And he hadn't even fully sourced them at this stage. He did source them in Vietnam, but it's all part of that business plan process, that last bit of research project. So that was pretty exciting. And then I still meet with two of the alumni who met during their MSc and started up an educational consultancy. And they go into large businesses to develop bespoke training programs. So they've won several contracts in the last 18 months since they've graduated. So the range is just, this is the problem with entrepreneurship. There is no start and end point, and the ideas, which is what you want, that ideation, you want to support people to see if something can come of those, during that process, really.
Sounds really exciting. Now, I want to ask you about how you measure the success rate of the course, Jocelyne. I mean, it must be difficult because, as you say, not everyone's starting a business. Some people are in a business and are going on to sort of change the business in some kind of entrepreneurial way. But how do you measure the success? I mean, how many people on average go on to start a business or go on to make their business more successful? And for anyone thinking of studying entrepreneurships, why should they be considering Aston Business School? What makes Aston so special?
Well, the success rate, is measured very differently in higher education. We've got the pass rate, which is very high. So most people who finish the program pass, and they do very well because it's an interesting topic and it's so varied. I would say probably 65, 70% of the graduates end up either back in their business, working for their family, or starting a business. Some people actually find out they're not cut out to be entrepreneurs, and that's because of the level of risk and uncertainty. I think, starting a business, because most businesses don't make a profit in the first couple of years, and also not everybody has that financial backing to start a business, and finding that funding may be difficult. So, it varies, but certainly a very high proportion end up in some type of SME experience afterwards. And of course, we still keep in contact with our alumni. So once you join Aston to study, you're part of the family, and we have many graduates and alumni who come back and talk to current students and give them encouragement and advice as well. So, I mean, the key thing, is that it's an extremely supportive environment. Aston loves everything entrepreneur. So you get support from a whole host of areas, which is quite exciting. The support available is second to none.
And just to push you a little bit further, give me some more USPs, some unique selling points of Aston, because there are other universities which do entrepreneurial degrees and business degrees, and I just want to know why people should think Aston when they're thinking of doing this degree.
Aston is a city university based in the heart of the West Midlands, and the networks available, it's just huge. The amount of people who want to come back who are graduates, the amount of businesses that come to Aston for graduates, for research, for partnership projects. It has been working in partnership with the community and the region has been something that Aston's been doing for ever such a long time. And its experience embeds entrepreneurship in really everything it does. And the departments and teams of people who want to encourage people to think outside the box and to really create some of these skills that are sustainable for the future. This resilience, element of risk that we have, developing core competencies, all of those are available not just from a program that you study, but it's all the extra things that are available at Aston. But I just love the way that Aston has embraced entrepreneurship, and it's not just in business, but it's in all the departments, because people need to be agile and need to be flexible and need to think about the future and sustainability and how things are going to be different in all departments throughout the whole university. And Aston helps in that area and is really supportive and positive.
Finally, Jocelyne, for those listening who are perhaps thinking of becoming entrepreneurs, what are your top tips for how they should be going about that?
I think having a plan and being passionate about something that you've noticed, this gap or problem that you think you can solve is really important, and testing it. There's no point having an idea if nobody is interested in it. And I think we've all had those eureka moments where we've thought of something and you tell your family and they're like, no, I don't think that's a good idea. So having a plan that's kind of exciting for you, but also piques the interest of others is really important, because this customer value is everything. Creating something new or different only works if somebody's prepared to pay for it and can take it somewhere else. So solving a real problem is fantastic. Embrace innovation. Everything is changing. The environments we operate in, change so quickly. You have to sort of keep up to date with what's going on to be relevant. So definitely passionate. And my last sort of tip is really about creating value. Is there something, an idea that you have that can make a difference to somebody, and to some group of people, then it's worth pursuing.
Jocelyne Fleming, a Senior Teaching Fellow in Economics, Finance and Entrepreneurship here at Aston Business School. Many thanks for taking part in this episode of Aston Means Business.
It's been a pleasure.
And thanks to you, our audience, for listening to Aston Means Business, an original podcast series for Aston University. Remember, if you've enjoyed today's episode, you can find and listen to earlier episodes by simply Googling Aston Means Business. And if you're interested in studying for an MSc in Entrepreneurship at Aston Business School, just Google Aston MSc Entrepreneurship and you'll find out plenty more. Meanwhile, we'll be back soon with more interviews with some of the UK's top business academics here at Aston. Aston Means Business. Thanks for listening.